Hey there, happy Thursday. So this video is your 2-7. We're just gonna continue practicing. I'm gonna go ahead and start sharing while I'm talking. You're going to need your math workbooks today, and we are going to do part of 2.7 together. So let's get this to come in. Come on. Let's turn it. And then try it again. There we go. Fantastic. So we're on page 59. Let's zoom in. 5-9. Go ahead and turn there now. I'll give you a second. You're going to need a pencil. And then if you have a highlighter or some color that you might want to underline with, go ahead and have that with you too. Okay? So yesterday, we started to talk a little bit about the distributive property, and we did a couple of practices. Today, we're gonna just work it out through our book so that you can have even more practice, and then you'll be ready for moving ahead during our live math time today, okay? So I wanna read this with you. You can follow along because it has those key words, distributive property and partial products. How we're going to break it up. You have used area models to help you multiply. You can use the area model to find 3 times 74 by writing 74 in expanded form and then using the distributive property to find partial products. So remember that expanded form is just that stretching it out, right? So we're really thinking about that. I'm going to highlight expanded form. Partial products is just going to be, we're going to break it up. We're going to do one part at a time. So in partial, you can see the word part, right? So we're going to break this up into parts. After you find all the partial products, all the parts, you can add them together to find the actual product of 3 times 74. So we'll be able to find the real answer. All right, so let's do these partial products. Here we go. Step 1, they're going to ask us to write 74 in expanded form. You will see here, we kept the 3, it's just a 1, but now we want to break up this larger number, the 10s and the 1s. So 7 tens is 70 plus the leftover, those are the 1s, that's 4. Right? 70 plus 4 is how we're getting 74. Okay, now we're going to move on. Now we're going to use the distributive property. So this is part 2. Okay? This is just doing it without our area model drawing. So now we're just using numbers. So now we're thinking about this equation still, 3 times 74. But we're saying 3 times 70, I should use this 3, excuse me. 3 times 70, so let's write that in, right? So it's basically doing this plus 3 times 4. So as I think I mentioned to you before, the 3 on the outside here is in charge. I'm going to put a circle around it. That means it has to multiply by both of the other factors and then add it up. So the second one is 3 times 4, okay? These are in parentheses because we must do what's inside there first and then we'll be adding them together. So I'm going to highlight my addition sign, okay? Let's go to step 3. Actually, it's not going to be step 3. Now it's going to break it up for us. The area models below show the steps to find the solution to our equation 3 times 74. So let's go ahead and look at it. Here's step 1. Now you can see it drawn, which I think we're getting really good at. You'll see because it's only step 1, remember, that's only the 70 times 3. I know 3 times 7 is 21. I'll add the 0 to make it 210, okay? I'm not solving this yet. That's going to be my step 2. Here we go. Step 2 is now the second part. So up here, it's now this part, right? That 3 distributes out to the 4. So now I have to multiply 3 times 4, this section, and we know that makes 12. Okay? These are partial products. They're just parts. Okay? If I wanted to highlight step 1, step 2. Let's keep going. And step 3. Well, now we get to add the partial products together. Now we're putting both step 1 and step 2 into step 3. Let's do it. 2, 1 and 1 is 2. 2 and 0 is 2. 222. All 3 steps. There is our final product. Okay? Just kind of a cool way. Oh, they're asking us in number 3 now, just to give the final answer. The final product is 222. So be sure that you filled that in, okay? So kind of a cool way to see it going from distributing it out, breaking it up into partial products, and then you can really see it using the area model and each section before we add it up to get our final product. Awesome. All right, let's look on the back side. I think on the back side, we're going to leave this until we come back together and we'll practice this. So I hope that you can go over that beginning stage and practice that distributive property. We'll be moving on to the algebraic notation method today when we're together, okay? For your homework practice pages, this is 2-7, and you're going to get to practice. Well, this actually uses the algebraic notation method, doesn't it? So let's see, why don't we just do this one together then? I don't want to assign something if you don't know how to do it. All right, let's read together. Another numerical multiplication method that can be represented by an area model is the algebraic notation method. This method also decomposes the 2-digit factor into tens and ones and then uses the distributive property. So you probably, well, I don't know if you remember that word decomposes. That just means breaks it up. So this method is going to break up our equation again into partial products, into sections. Should be really familiar. Remember we said these methods look very, very similar, okay? So I'm going to highlight this word. Decompose means to break up, and that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to break up our 2-digit factor. This is our 2-digit factor right here, okay? So let's see. We're going to put our 8 in, and then we're going to break 62 up. 6 tens is 60, plus what's left, the ones, is 2, okay? So it's over here also. Let's cover this one up. So when we're using the distributive property, let's plug it in. We're going to put the 8 on the outside. That's our single digit, times, we're going to break this up, so that's in here. 60 plus 2, okay? If I want to do this in my sections, I know that I'm thinking about 8 times 60. I know 8 times 6 is 48, and I'll put my 0 on. So you can see over here, they've actually done this. Remember, now the 8 is in charge, and it's going to go out to there, and then it's going to add the second part, which will be 8 times 2. So hopefully you're seeing how these pieces are all starting to come together. 8 times 2 is 16, so you'll see that. So first we multiplied out, then the 8 multiplied by the 2, and we're adding the 2 together, And then when you add the partial products, your total product is 496. This one is very, very similar. You're just distributing out, okay? You can try one more. Let's do this one. 2 times 97. Well, let's start labeling. We've got our 2 down, then we're going to break up our 2-digit number into tens and ones. 9 tens is 90 plus the ones that are left is 7. Okay, here it is. Now we're going to write it. We're going to really be thinking about our numbers. We'll start on the outside with our 1 digit. That's 2 times now our decomposed, our broken up number, 90 plus 7. Okay, so remember that 2 is in charge out here. It has to multiply times the 90, and then it also has to multiply by the 7. So it's got 2 jobs, okay? Just like in my area model, I'm thinking 2 times 90. I know 2 times 9 is 18. Put my 0 on, and my second section, 2 times 7 equals 14. So you can see that's been done for you. This is just distributing. It's making its 2 partial products and a final product, which is 194. Okay. I hope that gave you a couple more examples. And now when you go on to your homework, which is 2-7, you'll now be able to use the algebraic notation method to solve these. So I'm not going to go through them. I want you to try to plug these in, label your area models, do your sections, fill in your number forms, and then you're going to start to distribute. You're going to see that they've done a lot of it for you. They've even come up with your final answer. You need to check them. All right. As you get on to the back, you're going to have some subtraction practice. Please show all your ungrouping, any new groups, but it's all subtraction. Then you're going to get to solve another expanded notation. Remember, stretch those out. 5 times 68. And then, of course, the fun and hopefully challenging stretch your thinking. So try it, and then we'll talk about that together. All right, have fun.